Hello, interwebs. I'm back. I know you missed me. I'm singing again, and you remember why you didn't really miss me. Ha ha ha. All right, this is F3G2. I'm about to cough, so I'm going to keep making weird faces as I try and suppress it, which isn't healthy. Lobo's with me. Hey, main man. Hey, not the blood splattered one. That one just looked messy. I like a nice, clean, sleek Lobo. Told you I was going to cough.
Damn, that was bad.
First up on the review-ometer, the return of Jean Grey, Phoenix, the Resurrection. Kind of head trippy. We find out that, well, they're kind of bizarre. Apparently, the Phoenix Force has resurrected Jean and has had her in this weird little world because it's really just trying to get her to say, hey, I like all this enough to merge with it. The Phoenix Force is obsessed with Jean. Jean's not biting. So, in the end, it kind of, old man Logan confronts her. She starts to remember shit. Phoenix flips out. She comes out in a black and red version of the Dark Phoenix costume. She almost fights the X-Men, but instead fights herself, kind of struggling with the Phoenix. That offers her everything from her parents to it actually resurrects Scott, like the real Scott, flesh and blood Scott. It's not an illusion. She meets Scott, she talks to him. They swear they've each always loved each other. And then since she ain't biting, Phoenix lets Scott die again of the disease right in Jean's arms. And Jean's like, you know what, this isn't how life is supposed to be, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, Jean is back. And we've now, we know she's going to go for that. I don't know why the skin looks so orange there, but
It looks like Starfire.
For someone who refused the Phoenix, she's got this whole Phoenix, effect going on. Batman Detective Comics Annual Number 1, The Curse of the Clayface, is a heartbreaking look at Clayface's origin, because everything with Clayface has been heartbreaking since Detective restarted.
And this is Basil.
Yep. And, this is by James Tynion and Eddie Barrows on the art. It's gorgeous to look at, and we all know I'm a James Tynion fan, so it's like an inside versus outside thing. Are you a monster on the outside and that makes you one on the inside, or are you a monster on the inside and that makes you one on the outside? And a little bit of both. And, Clayface's dad versus... We get a relooked view at Clayface's origin. Really, really good. Really touching. Well played. Dark Knigget's Metal. Lawmort. Everybody is really, really loving this series. I am really loving the parts that bring characters back. Other than that, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that, I don't know. It just... I'm not freaking out over it like everybody else is. I'm just waiting for Plastic Man to come out of an egg. And we get hints that he will here. We also get the Martian Manhunter back, which made me really happy. And the cover's shiny.
It is very shiny.
Kaiju Max Season 3. Riot in Kaiju Max. Like, so many people. So many moms dead. A couple moms, or at least one mom we thought was dead, is less dead than we thought, and that makes me happy. This book is so good. If you've ever wondered how a prison riot would go if Monster Island was a prison, also if you go through a lot of plans to figure out how to kill a certain monster, only to find out his girlfriend took care of that for you. For her own, not even as part of your thing, just because he been playing her and she ain't no bitch. I love this book. There's not even enough words. Avengers No Surrender.
What is she?
Avengers number 678, part 4 of No Surrender. I may actually bow out for the rest of this.
You were so excited by the beginning of it.
I was, and you would think, I was like, Mark Waid, I love like everything he writes. Al Ewing, I love like everything he writes. Jim Zub, I love like a couple things he writes. So this should have been, you know,
At least decent?
it is. I'm sure it's not a matter, most of the time when I start losing interest, it's not a matter of whether, you know, I'm sure it's good. I mean, it's well written, it's well, I just don't care. Maybe they killed the Human Torch again. And they're like, you know, I read the interviews and Jim Zub was like, oh yeah, you mean he was, you know, vaporized? I'm like, you know, he's in Marvel 2 and 1 and they're building towards the return of the Fantastic Four. You can't convince me that you killed Johnny Storm. You know, you just killed him a few years ago and brought him back. I'm not seeing this as sticking. I don't know, something weird. Man, call me a fanboy if you want. I'm not like that worked up over it, like people on the internet go, no, but something about the whole, they retroactively put this Voyager in who's always been an Avenger. I didn't like it when they did that with Sentry. I was so glad they got rid of Sentry, and now I got another Sentry. And all that's fine, you know, Sentry's a lot of people's favorite characters, so that's fine. And I'm sure there's going to be people like, oh man, Voyager. And I have nothing against it. I mean, they use her well. I like the character, but the original Avengers lineup is like almost sacrosanct at this point. So just saying somebody was there the whole time bothers me. But that's not even my problem with it. I don't know. My problem is I just feel like there's a lot happening, a lot of things, and it's me going, wow, I read all 3 of these Avengers books. Now they're all mishmashed together, and I should be like, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm old, man. I don't care. Dark Arc. Angels can make mistakes. God may be infallible, but angels can make mistakes. Noah prays on his ark for some guidance, so the angels show up and just go to the first ark they see, which happens to be the ark full of monsters.
Oops.
So,
chaos ensues.
No, the angels are tricked. You know, they. I can never remember the guy's name in charge of. What the hell's his name? I don't remember his name, but you know, the guy in charge of this arc has to basically lie to them and act like he's you know, he's Noah. So because if the angels figure out what's going on, everybody's screwed. The angels really don't give a shit. These are not the angels my grandmother was hoping would be angels. These are the angels that are like, yeah, we really don't give we don't give a fuck about you humans, but God says this boat, you know, God says this boat is important, so we defend this boat. What do you need? And then like the devil is talking to our boat's captain again. I can't remember his name for the fucking life of me. There's so many pages of him saying other people's names, but not enough. Shrey, that's his name. Thank you. And Shrey's like, so the devil's like, okay, well, here's the thing. Your job now, you sent the angels away. Great. Your job is you have to find Noah's boat, Noah's Ark, and protect it. Because if he's praying, he must be in trouble. You need to solve his problem because you're saving my creatures. God's saving his creatures. But if his creatures don't make it, if there's no man and no animals to walk the earth, then there's nothing for my monsters to feed on. So if his ark fails, then your ark fails. There's no point to any of this.
And you die.
So, yeah, so go save them. Just kind of neat. Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider, which so far is really the adventures of multiple Scarlet Spiders. We've got Kane and Ben Reilly. Along with everybody who inherited the identities that Spidey used when he wasn't allowed to be Spidey. So, Ricochet and
all
Prodigy,
that.
and of course we find out that, not sure who Black Marvel is, but everybody's impressed that he's back and is a devil. Kane is Dick, by the way. I'll get more on that in a second. But it turns out that, what's his name? Hornet? Stinger? Whatever his name was, is actually the resurrected, what's his name? Cyber, the guy with the adamantium skin from, Marvel Comics Presents and Wolverine
The one
Forever.
that they boiled and skinned alive?
Yeah, well, when you go through hell, you can come back out. But turns out that that Black Marvel is actually a demon inhabiting the form of Black Marvel, and as he and Ben Reilly are fighting in a casino fountain in Vegas, Kane shows up next to this priest using his camouflage invisibility power, and he's just like, "Hi, this is God. I need you to do something for me right now." And as they're fighting in this fountain, this priest, believing he's helping the superheroes by doing God's work, and in a way I suppose he is, does the blessing over the fountain and turns the entire fountain into holy water, which
nice.
of course takes care of Art of Animosity number 12, The Bees Go to War. Marie Bennett is just killing it with these, and that makes me happy because it's so good. We find out that our hero Sandor, the Hound, literally in this case, is may not have been as noble the whole time as we thought he was, but also bees. You take their queen, bees are pissed, and we have an almost Ant-Man Antony moment in which the queen is leading all the bees to war against the people that have been forcing the bees to. And follow the queen, and boom, somebody shoots the queen. So the hive's fucked. But now there's going to be a whole war of man and animals versus a shit ton of bees. Quantum and Woody, number 2. Shiny. It's
Very. It's pretty.
now it looks like a Valiant comic.
Yeah, it does.
Man, I missed the old Dr. Solar when he was Valiant. Anywho, this book, what do I need to tell you? It's a Quantum and Woody book, so therefore it's awesome. The boys
third
are
book?
on the outs, and it flashes back between part of their childhood, part of when they became on the outs, and so you get like a flashback within a flashback, and them now. And at no point does anything go well for them. We find out that not only where we find out that Woody's dad's alive, but we also find out where he is. We also find out that apparently he's working with the bad guys, which also makes it kind of sense. Amazing Spider-Man, Renew Your Vows. There's a guy collecting a circus, mostly to get powers from all the weird creatures or whatever, including he's got Dr. Kurt Connors, who's now just fully the lizard. The spiders save the lizard along the way. He even has to save the lizard saves Annie Mae Parker by getting, because she gets stabbed by one. But it turns out the guy's actually collecting all those spider bloodlines. He's collecting the bloodlines of all these different abilities because someone wants to use them to make things. That someone is Mr. Sinister. So, there'll be more,
Kind of his thing.
more future X-Men involvements. Vincible Iron Man. I picked this up because this is the search for Tony Stark. I hadn't been reading what happened now. So there's kind of a bald, completely hairless Tony Stark in an armor who may or may not be dying, talking to a hallucination of his father and being all Tony about it, of angsty, whiny, you never helped me, you're not my real dad. And of course Howard's like, really? I only raised you since birth, and starts listing things he's done. He's like, but no, so Riri Williams, Stark Industries' new owners, come to get the Stark tech that she makes. She's like, Tony Stark very publicly allowed me to do this and have the. But you know what? She's like, actually, fuck it. You're a company, fine. Gives back all her armor. Does whatever. Dr. Doom has a rough day. So I guess this is going to be undoing it. I guess we're going to have. I'm sad by. It's almost like just because Bendis is leaving and they want to bring back the Fantastic Four, so fuck it. Doom has to automatically go be a bad. I liked him as a dickish superhero, and you can see plenty of reasons for the Fantastic Four to, confront him, at the very least keep him in check. But no, since we're building towards the inevitable return of the Fantastic Four, despite vaporized Johnny Storms, Dr. Doom has to be a bad guy again. The Flash, annual #1, with Wally having some rough times. Things didn't go well with Linda. He still doesn't remember how much of his past is gone, how much of, and whether or not he tells Iris. He and Barry have a falling out of sorts. Those cool rogues that are actually police in the future are sent back because there's been a murder in the Flash Museum. The Flash Museum in the future, so far in the future that it even has a thing for alternate timelines because of how often that gets fucked up. So,
Nice.
So yeah, the Renegades, which are Mirror Monarch, Commander Cold, Heatstroke, Golden Guardian, and Weather Warlock, good version, which we've seen before in the Flash, but they're coming back because they're trying to get, even though it was Eobard Thrawn that was Fawn that was killed in the future. It's still murder, but of course, who was it that killed him? Well, it was Iris. So they're coming back basically to arrest Iris, and are going to have to fight any Flashes that get in the way. Along the way, we find out, I'll spoil it for you, who it is that's actually running everything in the future and is sending them back as part of his ultimate revenge. He wanted this to happen. It's Zoom. All right, Hunter Zolomon. Zoom will make the Flashes go to war. So, corruption within the Flash Museum. Silencer, the New Age of Heroes Silencer. I read this. For the most part, I'm none of these new titles have really grabbed me enough to get me super excited, except the Terrifics. I'm dying for the Terrifics. I literally need.
You just love the name.
The Terrifics. No, forget that. It's Mr. Terrific, a Phantom Girl. We don't know if it's the actual one from the future, from the Legion, or someone else. But they haven't revealed that yet. Plastic Man, and Metamorpho. So really, it's
That actually
DC.
sounds like a decent team.
DC brought the Fantastic Four back before Marvel did. That's kind of awesome. You've got a stretchy guy, a genius. They just don't have fire, but Metamorpho can do that if he needs to. So he's literally he's a DC 2-in-1. Haha, Marvel 2-in-1. But this one's called the Silencer, and it's she's like supposed to be the baddest assassin. But every assassin in the DC universe is the baddest assassin ever. Apparently, she was part of Leviathan with Ra's al Ghul. With Talia al Ghul. Basically, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but this is the best way to describe. This entire issue is it's Kill Bill in the DC universe.
That has potential.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. There we go. Bonehead, #2. Weird future. Cops are almost Judge Dreddian. Things are less than grim. There are vigilantes who are sort of good and sort of vigilante-ish in gangs, and you're called a bonehead if you wear one of these things that enhances and does whatever. 56 over here is a kid that was found with the bonehead keeps him functioning. When I found him, he couldn't move. He couldn't speak, but I'm upgrading him with his own visual language, and he almost moves as well as you. I'm pushing the nanotechnology, blah, blah, blah. So basically, he found this kid that something had happened to him, that he was paralyzed, he couldn't speak, and he gave him this bonehead, but now he basically, the bonehead's he doesn't take it off at the end of the day. This is literally who he is. They just call him 56. But this cop that is this scientist who did it is the younger brother of this cop who used to be, what did they call him? Come on, I know where this name is listed. It's on several pages, but I know the mysterious bonehead. He moves just like Black Death. Black Death was the greatest vigilante hero ever, who since then has gone on to, he grew up and eventually just became a cop. So everybody's kind of interested in this guy who moves like Black Death, and it's really good. I like it. It's fun. And I'm out of books, so go read all those books.